Good morning, everyone. This is Todd Brow with Senior Insurance Marketing, and I have Adam and Kaitlin with Mutual of Omaha that we're going to talk about Mutual of Omaha's life products. And September is Life Insurance Awareness, and life insurance is definitely should be a need for everyone to help cover those final expenses, as well as to help leave a legacy to your loved ones so they can continue on and pay for colleges and the spouse that they've left behind as well too. And whatever the situation may be, but life insurance is a vital role that should be considered in anyone's plans. So without further ado, Adam's going to talk about the Mutual of Omaha's life products so we can learn more about the features and how it fits the clients. Adam?
Thank you very much, Todd. Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us today. As Todd mentioned, my name is Adam Chate. I'm a life brokerage sales director for Mutual of Omaha. I also have on the line Kaitlin Richling, who serves as our account executive working in the home office and helping to connect all the moving pieces required to make your guys' job easier to sell our products. So she's right there in Omaha. I'm actually remote out in California, and am on the plane and in meetings quite a bit. So Kaitlin does a phenomenal job of making sure that everything keeps moving while we're on the road. So I will go ahead and go to the next one there. And so just wanted to start with kind of why you should do business with us. And I always like to start with these slides just if you aren't as familiar with Mutual of Omaha as some other agents, or maybe you are, and this is just kind of a reminder, but go ahead and go to the next one, Todd. So some of the top 5 reasons I would say are the brand recognition. I hear that time and time again about what really separates us from the competition, especially in the simplified issue space, the non-med space for life, and that is really all that I'm going to be covering today. We do have a great library of products on the fully underwritten side as well. And as you know, we have great med sup, long-term care, really DI, just about any product that you can offer in the insurance space. But the focus is going to be simplified issue life today. We are strong, stable, and secure for over 100 years, so we've been around since 1909. We've got a dedicated team in place that's there to support you, and I'll touch on that a little bit later. And then just our competitive simplified issue product portfolio. So I saw from Todd's description in the meeting just about talking about life insurance that covers all ages, and we do really have a simplified issue product portfolio that covers any age really, from 14 days with our children's whole life, that's as early as it starts, to as high as 85 years with final expense, and then obviously beyond those ages as far as what the coverage would extend to. So
you are now being connected to the conference.
We also have the fast and simple underwriting and quoting and application tools that I'll touch on as well that just make your lives easier. Let's go ahead and talk. Just to look at that brand recognition, especially in the senior market space, a lot of your agents or your clients should be familiar with Mutual of Omaha's Wild Kingdom. So I don't know if that was all their, thoughts back when they started this program, but it's really paid dividends for us in current years. A lot of the folks in the final expense market, as agents are either talking to them, going to their homes, or over the phone, they know Wild Kingdom. And when you say the Mutual of Omaha name, on top of the other carriers you may offer, they're really going to recognize that name and have some fond memories of watching that program with their either children or their parents. We also have a number of sponsored golfers that are just out there trying to keep our name relevant again. So Jessica Korda, Russell Knox, Paula Creamer, Henrik Stenson, and Padraig Harrington are just a few of the ones that we have as sponsored golfers. And again, that's just all in an effort to stay relevant to you and your clients. Next slide. Then as far as our ratings go, across the board, AM Best, Moody's, and Standard & Poor's are all very strong. And again, it's maybe not something that all your clients are going to know, but that is something as an agent, just knowing that you're representing a company that has strong financial ratings and they're going to be able to be there in the time of need for your clients. Go ahead. And then that dedicated team, There's myself as your primary sales director and Kaitlin Richling as your internal account executive. We also kind of grew to more of a regional model in the last couple of years. So each one of us kind of serves as a primary sales director for a lot of our accounts, and we would be the ones that would connect with Todd and make sure that everything was moving smoothly with each of the groups that we work with. But we also do have regional sales directors that, depending upon if a group has a national presence, and they may have agents or agencies spread across the nation, depending upon where those agents or agencies are located. I myself am down in the southeast, so that light blue region that you see on the map there. And then Dylan Cummings is our Mid-Atlantic sales director. We have Jessica Helms, the orange, representing our central states, and then Rob Race representing our west coast. So we all just work well together and try to make sure that we get you everything that you need. Go ahead. And then moving on beyond the dedicated team, our sales support does a phenomenal job. They're usually the initial point of contact for really any, at least in the beginning stages when agents are calling in. They can help you get to any other department that you're trying to locate, access the producer website, answer product questions, order marketing materials, and so forth. We have our underwriting phone line there for case status, field underwriting, if you want to do some pre-qualifications, things of that sort. And then we're trying to do more and more with iPipeline's e-app. So we put the phone number there. That is becoming a big part of what we do, not only in final expense, but in our mortgage protection term product, and really all of our simplified issue life products, except for Guaranteed Universal Life Express, which ultimately it will be on there. And then Apptical point of sale phone interviews. That is something that we're starting to see a little bit less of as of late. I'll touch on why that is a little bit later in the presentation here. But it is still available to you for Living Promise. So if you did want to do a point of sale phone interview, try to get an instant decision while in the house, and if you're doing a paper application, that is available for you. Go ahead. And then the product portfolio. So these, again, are all of our simplified issue, and in the case of Guaranteed Advantage, which is our accidental death only product, that product actually is Guaranteed Issue. But Term Life Express, Guaranteed Universal Life Express, Living Promise, and Children's Whole Life are all simplified issue, no blood draw, no paramed exam, no urine samples, issued quickly, and you get paid faster. Go ahead. And then some of the tools to help make the sale. As I mentioned on simplified issue underwriting, we do have the Apptical point of sale interview for Living Promise only, and that's for paper applications only. And the reason I was saying that that's starting to decrease a bit is because in November of last year, we rolled out automated underwriting for Living Promise e-apps. So if you are doing an e-application with your client for Living Promise, it is going to give you the ability to get an instant decision without the need for a phone interview. So everything's going to go through the application and should give you the decision. If there is something, a need for clarification, it will be referred to underwriting for that clarification. But we're, I think, at about between 65 to 70% instant decision on that e-app. And we also have the quoting and application tools. WinFlex is available if you're needing a more full illustration. We also have our mobile quote tool, which is what most of our simplified issue agents are using to quote if you don't have a more widespread quoting tool, which I'm sure you guys do have available to you. And then our iGo e-applications are, again, a big part of what we're doing for Living Promise. It does have the automated underwriting. We're in the process of bringing that out on our Term Life Express product as well. And then down the line, we should have it on some of the other simplified issue life products as well. Go ahead and next slide. We're just going to touch on the simplified issue product portfolio. And next. So just starting with Living Promise, I know it's probably the key product that you guys would be looking at, and so I wanted to start there. But we do offer two plan options. We have our level benefit plan, and again, this is our final expense product. It's available for ages 45 to 85 on the level. It goes from face amounts $2,000 to $40,000, and then we just have a standard or standard tobacco or standard non-tobacco on that. The graded benefit plan, which is for a little bit of your less healthy clients, that one goes ages 45 to 80, face amounts 2,000 to 20,000, and there is no tobacco distinction on that one. So I will say that the overwhelming bulk of the policies that are issued on Living Promise is our level plan. There may be some underwriting niches that you can find with some carriers that you can get them level when maybe graded is what we would be able to offer. But where we do get a lot of our graded clients is really over that no tobacco distinction. So if you do have some smokers that are truly graded and unable to qualify with a level with another carrier, they may be a good fit for Mutual of Omaha. And our graded, it is a 110% return of premium if they die within the first 2 years. And then it does pay 100% of the death benefit if they die by way of accident in those first 2 years, but it's just a return of premium otherwise in the first 2 years, and then full benefit after the 2 years, whereas the level is day one coverage. Go ahead. And then some of our riders that are available, we do have an accidental death benefit rider that's available on the level plan. And then the accelerated death benefit for terminal illness or nursing home confinement is also available on the level plan. That is a no-cost rider, so that comes automatically included. It is only on the level, and in addition to the terminal illness accelerated death benefit, we do have the nursing home confinement, which is a little bit more unique, and basically if they're confined to a nursing home for 90 or more days and they're expected to remain there throughout the duration of their life, we can pay that nursing home confinement rider. It does vary based upon how long they've had the policy, what their age and sex is, but it's a nice additional benefit to have available to them in addition to the terminal illness. Go ahead. And then the multiple benefits of one policy, as you know, we got the tax-free death benefit there, the accelerated death benefit, which I touched on, and then the accidental death benefit option if they wanted to add that to the level plan. Next slide. And our application is a knockout application, so you're looking at Part 1. If they do answer any yeses to the questions in Part 1, they would not be eligible for either the level or the graded. And go ahead to the next one. And then for Part 2, if they answer yes to any of the questions in Part 2, they would only be available for the graded. So we're looking for no questions in Part 1 and all no questions in Part 2, and then assuming that the pharmaceutical check and the MIB all come out clean, they should qualify for the level benefit. And I'll just point out on that last one, I apologize, some of the things that come up quite a bit are diabetes. Diagnosis of diabetes is before age 50. So I know some carriers go a little bit younger on when they were diagnosed with diabetes. If they are diagnosed prior to age 50, they would only qualify for the graded benefit. Now, we are okay if they are diagnosed after the age of 50, even if they are on insulin, as long as there are no other complications like retinopathy, nephropathy, neuropathy, or peripheral vascular disease, they can actually qualify for the level. So they can have insulin-dependent diabetes as long as it was diagnosed after the age of 50 with no complications. So we're a little bit more accepting on some diabetes, but a little stricter on really the diagnosed before age. Go ahead. And then again, just kind of reiterating, level benefit answers no to all application questions, graded if they answer yes to any of the Part 2, and then not eligible for coverage if they answer yes to any of the Part 1 questions. And then we're going to run the MIB pharmaceutical check. Phone interviews are going to be requested as needed, as well as we do have a 1 in 10 random phone interview for Living Promise. So if you're not using Apptical, because Apptical does fulfill that phone interview requirement, but if you're either just sending in paper applications without a phone interview or you're doing the e-app, 1 in 10 of the every application that we receive for Living Promise, it's a random phone interview. So it's not 1 in 10 per agent. It's 1 in 10 of the collective number of applications we receive for Living Promise would get a phone interview. So that would just be something that would be ordered after the fact. You would see it on your outstanding requirements, and you have to have the client call in to complete that if we weren't able to reach them on the first or second attempt. Go ahead. And then just some of the marketing materials that we have available for you. We did update these within the last couple of years to try to make them both a little bit more attractive as well as to increase the font size. We were getting some feedback that our original flyers, which were a smaller trifold, the font size was so small that it wasn't exactly a great fit for the senior market. Go ahead. Okay. And then just getting on to the automated underwriting. So there's a few slides here to show what that would look like or explain what that would look like. Go ahead to the next slide. So, obviously the benefits there, you have the ability to deliver an instant underwriting decision to your clients while you're there with them, or if you are calling over the phone, we do allow that as long as they're able to do an e-signature by email. Again, this is only available currently on e-applications for Living Promise. We are still very hopeful to have this available on our Term Life Express product before the end of the year, but currently it is only Living Promise. You can get a decision all day, every day, so the decision options are the same: level, graded, decline, or a referral, and then you can use your desktop, laptop, or mobile device. Obviously, since it is an e-application, it's going to work best when you have strong cell service or Wi-Fi. In some of those more remote areas, you might be better off doing that paper application and maybe calling Apptical or just doing the paper application and sending it in. Okay. Then just the process, you're going to fill out their personal information within the application. They're going to sign their HIPAA authorization. At that point, you're going to be able to go through and ask all the underwriting questions, and while you're doing that, we're going to be pulling the MIB and pharmaceutical, and the information that's being pulled is going to potentially pop out some reflexive questions. So if there are medications that maybe come back on the prescription check that need further clarification, or there's an MIB result, that the e-application is actually going to try to address those. In the past, if those things came up, maybe with Apptical, they might try a little bit at the end, but really it's a lot of times those Apptical interviews resulted in referrals to underwriting for more clarification. We might have to do a follow-up phone interview. The goal is to try to eliminate the need for a focused phone interview to ask client questions. So we're trying to get those reflexive questions right in the e-app, and we're improving upon that as we go. So it's less than a year into the automated underwriting e-app now, and we've already made a lot of improvements in some of the questions being asked and the number of referrals to underwriting. Then at that point, you're able to complete the application, gather the client's signature to authorize the application, and then submit it at that point. Okay. Next slide. And then after you click submit, and I think if you click your mouse here, it might do something. All right, well, so basically the underwriting decision options are going to be level, graded, referral, or a decline, and that will actually spit out a policy number right within the application itself. You can go on to the next one. So this isn't yet an instant issue process. So we're still, it's instant decision is what we're trying to get at with the e-application. There are still going to be some administrative requirements that may need to be fulfilled at the home office, but you should get the email confirmation with the policy number after it's submitted. If we get the approval, then we're going to complete those administrative requirements and issue the policy and get it mailed out. So it is reducing the number of days. I think we're in the probably between 3 to 4 days on average as far as from submitted to issued for Living Promise, maybe even a little bit less. I hear from agents quite often they'll get a nice little run where they're getting policies issued within 24 hours, and they start to feel that should be the norm. ultimately I think we want to move in that direction, obviously, to keep expediting how quickly these policies are being issued and how quickly you're getting paid. But 3 to 4 days is probably still the average, so that's what you can expect with this process. Go ahead. And then we do have some training videos out there, and Todd, you should have these available to you now within the presentation. So if you have any follow-up questions, you can certainly forward these links on to folks so they're able to see both the in-person signature method as well as the email signature method.
Yeah, and we can email these links to you for the people that have registered and are on the webinar, so that'd be no problem.
Awesome. Thank you, Todd. Go ahead. All right. Next slide. So just briefly on this one, again, it's some agents really got comfortable using Apptical. It was our best option available for about the 2 years prior to us rolling out the instant issue or the instant decision e-app. And we still do have some agents that really prefer it. They like doing paper applications. They like talking to somebody, and the Apptical reps over time, they get really used to how they run their interviews and all of that. So this is an option that's still available to you if you are doing paper applications for Living Promise. And then just briefly, if you're not familiar with Apptical, what they do is, you're going to basically complete the application with the client. You're going to call them while you're there with the client, give them some privacy, hand them a phone. The Apptical rep is going to, get their authorization to run the MIB and pharmaceutical. They're going to run through all of the questions on the application again. And ultimately the goal is to get some results and give you an approval once they hand the phone back to you. And at that point, our process, and I think this is the same with just about any other carrier that has an Apptical process, we do need those applications submitted regardless of whether they were declined, whether it was a graded decision, they didn't want to move forward. So we need those sent into the home office within 14 days after that phone interview. Then after the fact, we'll review, final decision will be made, and if approved, you will get paid. All right. All right, so this is just kind of reiterating that, and the other thing to point out is just Apptical is going to give you a PHI number as you're on the phone with them if you're using this process. So that is something that you're going to want to check yes on the application, and you're going to want to enter that phone interview number. Next. Just some hours of availability as well as the phone number. And then the process, if you have never used Apptical before, what it would take to register on just the first visit or the first call. Go ahead and go to the next one. All right. I think we already talked through these. Go ahead and, yep. All right. So that is Living Promise. And the next product, now I'll try to be a little bit more brief in Term Life Express, so I make sure we have time here because I wanted to make sure that we get to Children's Whole Life at the end. But Term Life Express, this is our mortgage protection product. It is available, and go ahead to the next slide there, Todd. So we recently increased the issue ages on this product. It used to go up to 65. It now goes up to age 70. So it still could potentially be a nice fit for your clients if either they're, pricing or shopping on price, and maybe they don't need the coverage, the whole life coverage that Living Promise offers. They just want maybe a little bit shorter term. Some of those more increased ages, you can still get the nice 10-year or 15-year product. But the face amounts that are available on the younger ages, we're going from 18 to 50. It's $25,000 to $300,000. Again, this is all simplified issue. $25,000 to $250,000 on ages 51 to 60, and then for those now expanded ages 61 to 70, it's from $25,000 to $150,000 face. Term periods for those expanded ages are going to be the 10-year and 15-year for 61 to 70. Otherwise, you do have the the 20-year and 30-year option for those younger ages, the 18 to 50. And then return of premium options on our product, it is only up to age 50 and only available on the 20-year guarantee or the 30-year guarantee, but it is a very popular feature on this product. Go ahead. Some of the underwriting, looking at the different brackets there, so for 18 to 50, 51 to 60, and 61 to 70. Really the only thing that is different for the most part is on the lab history check for those expanded ages, the ages 61 to 70. We used to have a mandatory phone interview for those ages, and they replaced that with a lab history check. So we got feedback from a lot of agents who wanted to reduce the need for phone interviews, and in its place we just replaced it with lab history check, and that's been pretty popular to this point. Otherwise, we're looking at the build chart, the MIB and pharmaceutical, and then motor vehicle as needed. We are going to do a mandatory motor vehicle report on those younger ages, 18 to 35. And all right, go ahead and go to the next one. And then we do have some great for-cost riders that are available. As I mentioned, the return of premium is one of those for-cost riders as well, and we'll get to that a little bit later. But disability income is probably our second most popular for-cost rider. That is only on the non-return of premium policies, but if they're trying to couple in some protection, not only in the event that they die or become chronic, critical, or terminally ill, but if they want to protect themselves in the event of a disability and protect their income, they have the ability to add that product as well, or that rider. We do have a disability waiver premium, an accidental death benefit, and dependent children's rider, all available for purchase as well. Next. And then the no-cost benefits. So in the last couple of years, we added these living benefit riders to the non-return of premium. We used to only have terminal available. Now we do offer terminal illness, chronic illness, and critical illness on the non-return of premium. And then for the return of premium, we still have the terminal illness rider alone. So those come automatically included depending upon what plan your client chooses. We also do offer a residential damage waiver of premium rider, so that would be in the event that the client or the insured sustains $25,000 or more in damages to their primary residence, we can waive their premiums for 1 6-month period. Same concept with the waiver of premium for unemployment rider. If they go out of work after they've had the policy for 2 years, if they're out of work for 4 or more weeks and they're receiving state or federal unemployment benefits, we're able to waive the premiums for a 6-month period. And then there's a common carrier death benefit provision if they are a fare-paying passenger on a bus, plane, train, so forth, and they die as a result. We're able to double the benefit up to $250,000 for the common carrier death benefit, and that is, again, all of these are included at no cost, so just some great additional features that are available on the policy. Next. And then as far as the living benefit riders go, again, if it's return of premium, they would have that accelerated death benefit rider only. And for that one, we're able to accelerate 92% of the death benefit if they have a 24-month or less life expectancy. For the return of premium, for the non-return of premium, if they get that living benefits rider, the chronic illness, terminal illness, and critical illness, it is a 80% acceleration. So instead of the 92%, but in those cases, the 80% would be accelerated minus any discounts, which would be, if taken into consideration life expectancy and so forth. But the 20% that was not accelerated would continue on as a reduced death benefit. So they don't have to request all the way up to 80%, but whatever, if they did do the full 80%, 20% would remain as that death benefit instead of it being a terminated policy at that point. Okay. And just to look at how we define those on the chronic illness, we're looking at the inability to perform at least 2 of 6 activities of daily living. Terminal illness, in the case of the living benefits rider, it's a 12-month or less life expectancy. And then on the critical illness, we're looking at ALS, kidney failure, life-threatening cancer, major organ failure, heart attack, stroke, and then we recently added dementia, which includes Alzheimer's, major burns, AIDS, and aortic aneurysm surgery as being potential triggers there for the critical illness rider. Go ahead. And so just some things to remember, this has not been approved in all states. To this point, the only state in the U.S. that we offer the product, but we do not offer the living benefits rider, is California. We've been trying to get that approved there for about 2.5, 3 years, and have still failed to get that approval, but we're hopeful to get that at some point here in the near future. And then just some other things to look at. It cannot exceed 80% of the policy's face amount. The premium amount is going to be adjusted and based on the reduced face amount after that acceleration. And then we do allow multiple accelerations for chronic and critical, but we cap it at the IRS per diem if you want it to remain untaxable. Okay. And then as far as what happens, so I think I mentioned on the terminal illness, it's just going to be a slight interest rate discount. So really, if you're requesting an 80% acceleration on the living benefits rider, you're going to get pretty close to that full 80%. On the critical illness and the chronic illness, however, it's going to take into consideration life expectancy. So there might be some cases where you have a client that may have a critical illness that falls within our list of approvable conditions. However, if their life expectancy is 15, 20 years, it might not be in their best interest to accelerate that rider, because there's going to be a pretty big chunk of the requested acceleration that we will not pay out because we have to take into account the lost future premium. So, the shorter life expectancies, in most cases, they're going to get the bulk of what they request. But when they still have a pretty long life expectancy, it's going to reduce that amount quite a bit. Okay. And then as far as the return of premium goes, as I mentioned, this is available on 20-year and the 30-year guarantee. On the Term Life Express, it is for cost, so you're going to have to pay for that return of premium. But we do offer a return of all premiums paid and waived, including riders and policy fees at the end of the term. The return of premium amounts are going to vary from year to year if the policy is surrendered early, but I will say, looking at our return of premium percentages compared to some of the other products on the market, we do pay a very generous, I'd say, return of premium percentage in the early years. So by year 6 on the 20-year return of premium, there's already a 50% return of premium available to the client. And for the 30-year return of premium, by year 12, 50% is available. And again, at the very end of the policy term is where you can get up to that 100% of the return of premium. We not only give the client the option at the end of the term to get all of their premiums back, so everything that they've paid into the policy, including any additional riders and policy fees, we also give them the option to instead reduce the face amount and have a paid-up policy until age 100. So a great fit there for folks that maybe either now want to make sure that they get their money back in buying term coverage if they think that term oftentimes doesn't pay out a death benefit, or return of premium obviously is going to give you all that money back at the end of the term. But if they need that coverage to extend to age 100, they will have that reduced paid up option available to them. And go ahead to the next slide there, Todd. And this is, you can see this right within our mobile quote tool. So if you do download our mobile quote tool from the Google Store or the App Store, you can see that when you're running a return of premium quote. So it will show you the total premiums returned. We're looking at this case. This is a $150,000 return of premium for an age 30 client, a 30-year return of premium. So they would have the total premiums returned of almost $25,000 by the end of that term. Or if they wanted to, so now at this point they would be 60 years old, maybe they have a condition, or they just don't really need the $25,000 to help towards their retirement. They just want to make sure that they leave their family in a good space and or a good place. They can instead take that reduced paid up term life insurance, which at that point would be almost $62,000. They would not have to pay one other premium, and they would have that coverage extend all the way to the age of 100 at that point. And then in addition to the return of premium and reduced paid up options, we do offer nice conversions for Term Life Express. So this would be really more so for the non-return of premium. But if you wanted to convert it to our GUL Express product or to a whole life product that we have for conversions only, you have the ability to do so all the way up to the lesser of the end of the level term period or the policy anniversary following the insured's 70th birthday. And there's a look at how compensation is paid to agents for those conversions. So we do pay 50% of the new business comp in policy years 3 through 5 and 100% in policy years 6+. Okay. And just some of the marketing materials available for Term Life Express. Go ahead. All right. And just for time's sake, I'm going to go through this one kind of rapid fire. I can definitely answer some questions after the presentation, but I want to make sure that I get to children's whole life. So go ahead, Todd. So just briefly, this product is on the same application as Term Life Express. It currently only goes up to issue age 65, though we are in the process of increasing that to age 70. And I will say that as of October 1st, we're also doing a nice reprice on Guaranteed Universal Life Express that will make it even more competitive than it already is. But this is really our extended term or our permanent term product. So if a client's looking for more than 20 years or 30 years of term coverage, they can have this product and they can dial a guarantee anywhere from age 80 all the way up to age 120. For those higher ages, ages 61 to 65, it's a minimum guarantee of 20 years. Same underwriting as Term Life Express as well, so same application, same underwriting. Go ahead. Some of the 4 cost riders, very similar. We have an accidental death, dependent children's. There's a disability continuation of planned premium as well as disability waiver of policy charges. Go ahead. And then some no-cost benefits. For GULE, currently it only offers terminal and chronic. That is also something that we're looking at is potentially adding that critical illness, so we have the full living benefit options available on the product, but currently it is just terminal and chronic. There's a waiver of surrender charges for partial withdrawals and then a guaranteed insurability rider, which is a nice fit as well if they want additional coverage later on in the policy. Go ahead. All right. So why sell GUL Express? This is just a look at the 20-year or 30-year term for an age 40, $100,000 face, and then what it would look like if they needed to extend that guaranteed age to 80, 85, 90, 95, and 100, what the increase in the premium, if you look at that far right column, that's what that increase in the premium would be. And again, as of October 1st, it's going to be even more competitive. All right. And then offering a solution beyond 30 years guaranteed and some of the really great ways to give your clients some savings on premiums with the short pay. They can pay premiums for, in this case, that age 40. If you look at the bottom row, they are paying premiums only for the first 30 years. The premium is $108.22. On that top row, they're paying level premiums throughout the entire term. So same coverage, $100,000. The premium is $92.62. So for just $15 more, basically a month, they can pay off that policy really early within 30 years and still have that $100,000 available to them and save almost $30,000 in premiums over the term of the policy. Okay. Adjusting the guaranteed period, same thing. If they don't need that coverage all the way to age 120, maybe just age 100 or age 90 or age 80, you can see how much that would impact the premiums. And again, very shortly here we'll have some even better numbers to show you there. Okay. Then just as an alternative final expense, this could be something that if they need more than $40,000 and they're a healthier, since underwriting is a little bit tougher than final expense, they can get anything up to that $150,000 for those increased ages. And then, it kind of looking at apples to apples, or as close as possible to apples for $25,000 for male age 62. Living promise is $114.94. The GUL Express quote there is for a guaranteed age 100. So for $92.37, a savings of over $22, they can get guaranteed coverage to age 100 on that product. All right, so as I'm very similar, living benefits, just not the critical, but up to 80%, as is available on Term Life Express. And then guaranteed insurability, I won't cover all of these, but it's just an opportunity. If they need more coverage later on, they have the ability to do so. It's $25,000 increments that they can add on to the policy for those different life events, or on the third policy anniversary and every 3 years thereafter, up to 200% of whatever the original face was. All right. And then just the marketing materials on that one. All right, so Children's Whole Life. This is one I was really wanting to make sure I got to, because it is a great complement to Final Expense. Issue ages on this is 14 days to 17 years. We increased the face amount. It now goes up to $50,000 for this policy. And I will mention that we are an age last birthday company, so that 17 years doesn't mean their 17th birthday, but when they're 17 and 364 days old. So as long as they're prior to age 18, they are able to get this policy. No medical exam. There are only 2 health questions, and we do allow grandparents to sign the application without a parent signature in all states now that the product's available. And then additional features, we can build some cash value. Coverage is guaranteed age 100. We also have a guaranteed insurability rider on this as well, which is really what makes this product so great, I believe. And then a waiver of premium. All right. So just mention the guaranteed insurability and waiver of premium. Next slide. Those are no-cost benefits. They come automatically included. So, again, covering the costs associated with an unexpected loss, the cash value growth, as well as providing that protection for a child's future insurability. And then just a quick look at, a 2-week-old can be approved for $50,000 of coverage for just $16 a month. Okay. And then that guaranteed insurability rider that I mentioned. So this product, it's not a priced-in rider because we give them the option to increase the coverage that they have, but it's not required as maybe like a grow-up might be. So with this, if they start with $50,000 in coverage, for instance, if they later on in life, if that child who's now grown to be an adult either gets married, purchases a new home, or adopts a child, or the policy anniversary date following their 25th, 30th, 35th, or 40th birthday, they have the ability to purchase a policy equal to the face of the original without showing proof of insurability. They can do this up to 5 times. So between the different life events there or the age triggers, they can do it a total of 5 times. So $50,000 in whole life, if that's what they started with, they can potentially end up with $300,000 in whole life without ever showing proof of insurability beyond the first 2 questions on the application when they were a child. So really great to kind of lock in that insurability for folks. Each policy would be a new policy, so it's going to be based upon the attained age. But it's, again, just a great opportunity. They don't have to show proof of insurability. If they have a family history of something happens to that child later in life, they're locked in with us and they can get that additional coverage. All right? And then we also added a waiver of premium due to death of owner. We were seeing that there were a lot of grandparents that were purchasing this product for their grandchildren, and if the owner died pretty shortly after getting that coverage, a lot of times we were not getting a response to the lapse notices. We added an additional contact on the application so that whoever's purchasing the policy, if they do die, we're able to send notification and give that additional contact the opportunity to take over the policy. In the event that the owner does die, we'll waive the premiums for 90 days while they transfer the policy or transfer the ownership. Okay. And then just some of the marketing materials that are available there. All right. I think for time's sake, Todd, just to make sure that we have enough time for a few questions before the end of the hour here, I might stop there, okay with you?
Sure, that's fine, and that would be a perfect segue into another webinar that we can definitely do later on too.
Okay.
On that, that'd be great. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to type it into the Q&A box, and we'd be happy to answer those questions for you. So just feel free to type it in there. And also, this webinar is recorded and will be on our website. So if you want to review it again, because I know sometimes, especially when I hear something twice, I pick up on something that I didn't get the first time. So does anyone have any questions? Adam, I don't see anyone typing any questions. So Adam, I really appreciate you taking the time and talking to us about the Mutual of Omaha life products. Very simple, easy to use, and also basically for all ages. There's a product out there in your portfolio for them. So feel free to give us a call here at Senior Insurance Marketing, 877-800-3080, and we'll be happy to get you contracted with Mutual of Omaha or give you help you with a quote or marketing material or anything like that. We'll be happy to help you out. So again, Adam, thanks for taking the time today. I really appreciate it. And everyone have a great day. And feel free to give us a call here at Senior Insurance Marketing, because we're here to help you grow your business. Take care, everyone.